Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Welcome to the show. Now, this is the Iftar Drive, taking you from now until the time of Maghrib Salah, inshallah ta'ala, as we look at different topics, but more so surrounding around the topic of Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. And alhamdulillah, today we have a good lineup, starting with the South Africa's Ramadan Mosaic as we take a look inside the Turkish community's sacred traditions and influence in South Africa. Joining me on this discussion is the Turkish historian and associate professor at Wits University, Dr. Halim Gençoğlu, who unpacks this discussion with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Dr. Halim, and welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakumullah khairah for being with us on this beautiful and very interesting topic as we look at the Turkish community. Dr. Halim, we often see the beautiful architecture of the Nizamiye Mosque in Midrand, which has become a very finite tradition in South Africa of people visiting it, especially in the weekends of Ramadan. But the Turkish influence in South Africa goes way back and further back. How deep do the roots of the Turkish South African Muslim connection actually run?
Shukran for your question. First of all, thank you for having me in your program. Yes, well, Turkish link with South African community actually dates back to early 19th century. In 1838, first the British Empire tried to get Angora goats from Turkey. In fact, its name comes from Ankara. Today, it's a capital of Turkey. Turkey, now we call it actually. I must say Turkey, not Turkey anymore. So then official relations with South Africa started in 1852, just middle of 19th century. Turkish Empire appointed an honorary consulate in Cape Town. His name was William Gregg. He was a South African English businessman. So at that time, South African Muslims, they start to just remember in 1834, slavery was abolished in South Africa as well. So they, when they started to go to Mecca for Hajj duty, they realized actually the existence of Ottoman Caliphate. South African Muslims understood actually the importance of the Ottoman Caliphate in the world history. So then the relationship becomes special for Muslim community in South Africa, because they start to ask questions to Istanbul, not Mecca, because Khalif was in Istanbul. So then later on, they ask a scholar to teach them, educate them in South Africa, and Ottoman Empire sent religious scholar Ebu Bekir Efendi to South Africa in 1862. It took a while for him to arrive South Africa. It took 4-5 months. Then he arrived in 1863, and he started to teach people. And at that time, even today, Cape Muslims, they were fluent in Afrikaans rather than English because of Dutch influence in the history of South Africa. Then they had a very special relation with Ottoman Empire, because now Ottoman Caliphate sent a scholar, Ebu Bekir Efendi, to South Africa. He established a school, madrasa, in Cape Town. And he, furthermore, he learned the local dialect, Afrikaans, to teach them better. You know, Nelson Mandela said, if you want to speak people's heart, you must learn the mother language. So that's what he did. It's a big sacrifice, actually. So that's how it started. And of course, when Ottoman Empire declined, these beautiful relations, historical bonds, little bit failed, I must say, and forgotten, unfortunately, became forgotten. And of course, later, when Turkish Republic established consulate in Cape Town and Johannesburg, Pretoria, sorry, the embassy. So they try to rebuild these relations.
No, that's very interesting. And now, it is interesting that you speak about Sheikh Abu Bakr Effendi, who, when we look at the majority of the Muslims in Turkey, they would follow the Hanafi madhab, and Cape Town at that time would have been majority Shafi'i madhab. And
Right.
that's quite an interesting aspect in terms of that he was sent to teach in a madrasa. Now, looking at there's an interesting tradition that we see in Turkey, which is the Ramadan Mosaic. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, of the drummers who wake the Muslims in Istanbul. Can you explain the significance of this ancient rite and why it remains so resilient in the modern age?
Month of Ramadan, you mean today in Turkey?
Aywa.
Month of Ramadan in Turkey is, of course, yes, today, Republic of Turkey, they remember where they come from. Ottoman Empire was the main source for the Turkish people. And the Istanbul is a capital of, it used to be capital of Turkish Empire, basically Ottoman Empire. And that's why, in fact, Istanbul was capital for 2000 years. Istanbul is really the city of civilizations. Before Ottoman Empire, it was still capital for Roman Empire. So, of course, when Ottoman Empire conquered Istanbul in 1453, basically middle age, 500-600 years ago almost, they Ottoman sultans, they wanted to establish a typical Islamic city, but including they didn't want to destroy the that mosaic structure of the city. So they didn't want to. Basically, they kept other religious minorities in the city. They even gave them right to pursue their religious activities in the Ottoman territories. So Istanbul, to me as historian, Istanbul was excellent city. In fact, with these minorities, they all respect each other. So Turkish state today, it comes from this tradition. For instance, in Ottoman time, there were Zimem notebooks called. It's called Zimem notebooks. We say Zimem defter, so it means notebooks basically. When Ramadan comes, month of Ramadan, wealthy people, they used to pay the debt of poor people. They used to go to markets and ask how much people owe you, and they just don't ask who actually owe debt, and they just pay it. The wealthy people come and pay it without asking the owner of the debt, So even today, this tradition, for instance, it's still alive. There is Turkish singer today called Çelik. He just 2 days ago he went to Hatay city, and he paid some of people's debt. He just went through the markets. He asked them how much these guys need to pay you, so this much amount. So he didn't ask who is the person, because you can't also show off and say I paid your debt. So there are a couple of traditions like this. For instance, there were coffee shops in Turkey, in Ottoman Istanbul, and in the month of Ramadan, it used to be just reciting Quran or reading book at that time, month of Ramadan. But after Ramadan, they have again something like Habli Babli, so they live in, of course, in the consciousness of Islamic tradition, especially in the Ottoman time. But today, Turkey is a secular country. You can not easily really separate Turkish cities from many European cities because of the secular lifestyle. However, in particular, there are still particular examples, like everybody in every cities, they go to bakeries just in a very short time in the iftar time, very close to iftar time. They go to bakeries and they buy, we call it pide. It's not like pita exactly, but it's pide, like a very delicious round bread, and susami is on. So we fetch it. It's very hot, basically. It just comes out from the oven. So these are still alive, in Turkish society. And in Ottoman time, what was special is actually, I checked actually Ottoman archive, and I translated many of these documents. Now I'm just going to mention regarding South Africanist Muslim community. They and I translated them, and I donated them to Cape National Archive in Cape Town. People can go and see these documents in National Archive in Cape Town, Cape Town branch. For instance, in the month of Ramadan, Ottoman Empire used to send donation to South African Muslim community.
Maf, can I just ask you, inshallah, quickly, we just need to take a quick break, and we return, inshallah, we can look into those beautiful points that you're mentioning of what you have translated, which is in the archive, mashallah, tabarakallah. Just need a quick break, then we'll be back, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.
Inshallah.
Salam Media, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
The kitchen, the heart of the home, where memories are made and celebrated. Our go-to place for those freshly stacked pancakes early in the morning, or for that late-night snack munchies. We are in there together, cooking, eating, and celebrating life together. Let's keep the kitchen a place that is shared by everyone, where we build stronger bonds and grow together. Sunfoil, Now We Cooking. Visit nowwecooking.co.za for recipes that everyone can help make.
Right now, over 150 million children around the world are orphaned, facing hunger, hardship, and uncertainty. With Islamic Relief's Orphan Sponsorship Program, you can provide a child with access to education, nutritious food, essential healthcare, and a safe home. Your sponsorship is not just support, it's hope, security, and a brighter future. Be the reason an orphan child smiles again. Sponsor an orphan today with Islamic Relief.
Freedom Stationery supply Marlin and Marlin Kids pens to me and my school friends. They supply just about everything we need to help us get a better education, from books to files to rulers. In fact, any
accessory.
Any accessory we need. Freedom Stationery. Education for the nation. What does accessory mean?
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
This Ramadan, as we prepare to break our fast, spare a thought for the millions of families around the world who have nothing on their tables. You can change that. For many, you are their hope. For just 1,590 Rand, you can provide a Ramadan food parcel to feed a family of 5 for the entire month. Help Muslim Hands continue serving humanity. Give your zakat and sadaqah at muslimhands.org.za.
Valley's Motor Spares. We supply motor spares and accessories for all makes and models of motor cars, LDVs, bakkies, trucks, and earth-moving equipment. We deliver on time, every time. Please contact us via WhatsApp on 014-592-0925 or call 014-592-0925 or visit 28 Zenderling Street, Rustenburg. Remember the name, Valley's Motor Spares.
You are listening to Salam Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Welcome back. So we're still discussing Ramadan in the Turkish community with Dr. Halim on the discussion. Dr. Halim, before we went on break, you were taking us through the archives, the Turkish archives, regarding the connection with the South African community and how Ramadan was being celebrated. You took us back into history, into the 16th, 17th century of Istanbul, and also coming to the modern day culture of the Turkish community, inshallah.
Yes. Well, today I was just mentioning actually these importance of these archival documents, how they actually showing us what type of historical relationship exists between South African Muslim community and Turkish Empire. So some of the documents are telling us strange, important historical relations. Like one of them was actually the South African Muslims. They were very appreciative about the activities of Abu Bakr Effendi in South Africa, and they wanted to say thank you to Ottoman Sultan Abdulaziz at that time, and they wrote a letter, quite long letter. Now you can see it in Kep Archive. When you go to Kep Archive, it's just on the wall. National. The head of archive, Erika, actually wanted to put it in the archive because it's very important document. In fact, we are talking about globalization today. When you read these documents, you see actually there was that globalization, the meaning of that actually was already exist in 19th century between South African Muslims and Ottoman Caliphate. Even there was no telecommunication. Today we have Facebook, we have lots of social media, cell phone, etc. we fly to Turkey in just 10, 11 hours. At that time, how can you manage and establish such a strong bond, between these communities? It's really remarkable. And I must also mention this in the Turkey-Italy war. In Turkey, Ottoman Empire was trying to save Libya against Italian army. South African Muslims, they knew actually, Ottoman soldiers are fighting on top of the Africa, in Libya. But imagine Libya that time, how it actually is far from South Africa. South African Muslims, they gathered money for the children of Martha. They die in the war. Ottoman soldiers. Can you imagine? Look at these sensitivities, at that time. And they sent it to Ottoman Empire via Turkish consulate in Johannesburg. So I'm explaining this because this was not just one-sided relation. In even 1948, there was a gentleman. His name is Hacı Adem from Durban. He had no children, and he donated his all everything to Turkish actually state. Because of these relationship, even Ottoman Empire declined at the time. Hacı Adem from Durban, he still had that consciousness, and he wanted to donate something to that empire, that nation. They once upon a time actually took care of these people in South Africa. So that's why the archival documents are important for us to reanalyze our historical relationship. You must remember, apartheid regime in South Africa destroyed many things, but including historical relationship between these nations. So unfortunately today, very similar one, maybe worse one, is happening in Palestine. And that's why we are very aware of these things today.
Oh, most definitely. And Dr. Halim, inshallah, now for our listeners who may not really be familiar with Turkish culture, what is one lesson or tradition from the Turkish Ramadan experience that you believe could benefit all South Africans during this holy month of Ramadan?
Well, basically, we are all Muslims, alhamdulillah. I mean, in the month of Ramadan, when I was living in Bukap, I also learned many things. But what we have in Turkey, in fact, the Teravih, Iftar time, they are all same. But there is, for instance, there is one noon. There is noon. I don't know if you've been in Cape Town, but in the noon time, there is a noon gun. In Bukap, they just blow noon gun. We have it only in Iftar time. Before, just at the time of Iftar, the Imam just going to start, Azan. You can hear that, gun. So then gun start, then Azan starts. So we only see it in Cape Town in the middle of the day. It's just a tradition dates back to actually colonial time in South Africa. But in Turkey, we have this gun, that noise, you can hear it, when you hear that noise, it means the Azan actually started. You can break your iftar. So another thing I just actually mentioned that, you know, special bread we make in just month of Ramadan. It's called pide. There is susami on the pide. Nice, very soft and beautiful smell. That pide is so we have it everywhere. From you can see it everywhere in Istanbul, in Turkey. It doesn't matter, you know, which part of Turkey you are. So pide means Ramadan almost, you know, that's how it is important. So otherwise, as I said, I mean, you are Shafi or Hanefi, doesn't matter. We are all Muslim, alhamdulillah. We have same traditions, same belief.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah khair, Dr. Halim, taking us through such a beautiful historical points regarding the relationship between South Africa and Turkey. And we always make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does strengthen our brotherhood and the strength amongst us as the Muslim community, inshallah. I mean, Jazakumullah khair for your time. And we wish you a very beautiful and joyous Ramadan Kareem, inshallah. I mean.
Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, this is Dr. Halim taking us through beautiful connections between South Africa and the Turkey Muslim community. We'll take a break right now, and after the break, we have Hafiz Musa Muqati as we look into the Ummi Musa Madrasa and their activities in this month of Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala, after the break.